Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Sisters on BET. Let's just jump right into it. We are on season 6, episode 7, entitled Ordinary Pain. Last episode, Fatima walks up on Karen kissing Zach on the cheek. And so that is where we pick up this week. As previously mentioned, Fatima pulls up on Karen kissing Zach on the cheek, and she pulls him to the side because she wants to, have a conversation with him. And of course, Karen is back in her delusions, as previously mentioned, and so now she's being a little messy or whatnot. And Fatima is not really there to talk about the whole Karen situation and the fact that she wholeheartedly believes that Zach still loves Karen, or is still in love with Karen at this point. And so she hands him an envelope. The envelope is for him to fill out a some kind of paperwork. She's already did the brunt work. She's gotten it printed out. She's filled in the majority of what needs to be there. He just needs to sign. And it is for family court. If you are following this Zatima series, you would know that he is going to attempt to get full custody of his son that he has with Heather, the stripper, that he just found out about. So yeah. And so she did the paperwork to try to get him an emergency hearing, because the situation over there at his baby mama's house is not, it's not a good one. So yeah, he does notice that she doesn't have the ring on it. She asks about it, and she gets about a dodge. She don't really want to hear it, because this ain't the time or the place. You are here to do business with Karen, so me and you don't have much of anything to talk about at the moment. We'll get to it when we get to it, essentially, and she walks off. Pam tells Fatima that Aaron saw her kiss Zach on the cheek, and so now he walks over and walks over to them and tells Karen, like, "Oh, I'm about to leave." He's rushing off. He's rushing off somewhere else because he's also pissed. I don't know if I can tell by my energy, but I'm over it. We're only on episode 7, and by the end of this episode, I'm ready for 8. If 8 can be the finale, I don't have no problems with it, because I'm annoyed. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm annoyed by the time I get to the end of this episode, the end of the review, whatever. All right, moving right along. Sabrina and Maurice are still sitting in what the lawyer told them previously. He told them, best case scenario, charges get dropped because the witness isn't viable. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is you're facing 15 years. And so, they're scrambling, trying to figure out what the hell he's talking about. Basically just stunned and shocked at the fact that they could potentially serve 15 years based on a lie that Q was telling. And Maurice offers to gut Q like a fish so that he will be nobody's problem at this point. And in my opinion, I'm not mad at it, but we have to do things legally. And then at this point, Maurice is so hell-bent on vengeance that everything else is out the window. Sound mind, sound judgment, sanity, accountability, all that is out the window. All he really wants to do is make Q suffer at this point or unalive him. And so that is his goal this season, and we're well aware. But she does tell Maurice in this scene that he needs to take some real accountability, because he has said, "Okay, let me have it. I know it's my fault that we're in this situation," but she wants him to take some real accountability for the situation that they're in, because essentially it is. It's his. I'm not gonna say he's 100%, at fault, but you got a good 85% of the situation that you're in, because I gave you 50 with you, being in a pseudo relationship with him, and him, being able to find out where you work and casing the bank and all that other good stuff. But that other 50, 85, 35, that other 35, I think the math was right. I don't know, that other 35%, you gained that other 35% by telling that little snide ass joke to somebody had just gotten the hell out of jail for robbing a bank. Come on, use your head. Why the hell else would he be out of jail after being caught for robbing a bank? It wasn't the time to tell jokes, and that's just still the deal for all of y'all. So I'm gonna let you hold that as well. Moving right along, and yeah, that was pretty much the end of how that scene, played out. Q rolls back into work, and Danny wants absolutely no parts of it. He is trying to rubbing her face that he was in her apartment. They had a good time, in betwixt the sheets or whatever. And just being a smug asshole as usual, and she wants nothing to do with it. And so she rolls his ass into oblivion in that wheelchair. By the end of this episode, I don't know. Q was giving a little bit of scarecrow, like he got a little bit of heart. It's giving he has a heart, but we'll get to that when we get to that part. Moving right along, Sabrina calls Danny and tells her what the lawyer says, about, the worst case scenario, 15 possible years. And so she's having a bit of a breakdown because she's been hopeful for the most part, especially after Maurice made bail. In my opinion, she's been pretty hopeful, but that judge just kind of took a lot of that wind up out of her sails. And so she's trying to grab at straws, much like everybody else, trying to figure out what they can do to salvage the situation by any means necessary. So Danny tells Sabrina that Q is at work, and she's wondering, like, how's he at work? He just got shot. Well, obviously, the bullet wasn't that detrimental, so he's fine. And now Sabrina wants to talk to him, and she wants to tell him how much he ruined her life and all this other stuff. And Danny's like, cool, I can get you in here, get you a little badge. You ain't get it from me, so you can have your little 2 minutes of fame with him. But what I don't want you to do is get your hopes up, which is definitely sound advice, because he's been a stone. He's been pretty emotionally unavailable all this time. Now, I say that he wants to be the Grinch real bad, but he got a little soft spot, because as much as he claims that he used Maurice because Maurice was using him, as he said in this episode, I feel like he was feeling him, because Maurice is probably one of the only few people that had a vested interest in him being good, or having nice things, or having somebody to think and care about him. And he just could not handle Maurice being so good to him, so he screwed him over. Basically like a self-sabotage to the 10th power, in my opinion. And it just came by way of you robbing us. I don't think he got into a pseudo relationship with Maurice in order to rob the bank, because he didn't know. I don't think he knew. Maybe he did, but I don't think he knew that Maurice worked at a bank early on in their, quote unquote relationship. I think, as time went on, he probably learned the information. I can't remember. We on six seasons, so y'all correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Either way, I just feel like he had a little soft spot for Maurice, and then he just kind of sees an opportunity to self-sabotage, as well as have a little come up. That's just my opinion. Where was I going with that? Don't really know. Let's move right along. Fatima sees Tamara, Miss Tamara, the decoy, in the office, and she's pissed. She is pissed. She don't really care about being, incognito with them talking to each other. And she asks her, like, girl, what are you doing here? She's like, I'm here looking for Hayden, And she looks down and sees a ring on the girl's hand, and she's looking like, what the hell do you got going on? Like, that wasn't the plan. You straying too far from the plan. And Tamara tells her, like, I took him to Vegas and, put the pressure on him, and I got him to marry me. Like, I'm gonna be able to take him for all he's got. And Fatima tells her, like, listen, that was not the plan. That's not the plan that I had. I told you to, take him down, but that's not the way that the plan was supposed to go. So since you want to go rogue and do what you want to do, I'm out. You're going too far. My hands are washed of the situation. And now Fatima is out. She tells her, listen, don't update me. Don't contact me. Don't speak to me. Don't see me. Don't say nothing. Don't pretend as if I don't exist and you never knew who I was. So that plan has been aborted, which makes sense to me for the plan to be aborted, because Hayden is not really a threat right now. Like, when you think about the season, Hayden is so tied up with Tamara. Well, I guess had he not been tied up with Tamara, he would still be in Zach and Fatima's business. So maybe maybe they should have found a better decoy to distract him, but that only would have worked for so long. You know what I mean? Like, okay, him and Tamara get married and have kids and skip off into the sunset. Like, I think Hayden is the type of person, it would have only worked for so long. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I'm just saying, like, she would have only been able to distract him for so long because she was there temporarily. So at some point, her mission would have been up, and that would have diverted the attention back to Fatima. So, for example, if she told him, hey, go take Hayden for all of his money. Once Tamara takes all of his money and he's able to rebuild, or, the authorities are on her trail, he has more free time to still refocus on bothering Fatima and Zach. So the problem is not really resolved. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is the energy that Maurice has for Q, somebody needs to have that energy for Hayden and follow through the execution. All right, let's move right along. All right, so move right along. Gary has looked up Tamara. He's on the phone with Hayden, and he tells him, like, listen, she's come back clean so far, but I'm going to get somebody to do some, a deeper search on who she is because, you're my co-conspirator, and I'm going to help you out. Whatever. And he asked Hayden about the annulment papers, and Hayden is kind of feeling Tamara a little bit, for real, kind of, sort of, maybe, because he has the annulment papers on his desk. She's on the way to meet him for lunch or to come into the office or whatever she's there for, and he's not sure that he's going to mention it to her, get her to sign it, or anything to that effect. He knows that he doesn't know her very well, but it's given like maybe I could kind of get to know her, but we all know because he is a little bit whipped at the time, so that might be why he's a little bit unwilling. And what she does to him later in this episode kind of gives me the confirmation that he is, well, whipped, right? All right, let's move right along. Gary then asks about Andy and Robin. Is Andy in the office? Yes, she's here. Is Robin in the office? No, I haven't seen him. Okay, well, I'm going to pretend I'm coming by to see you, and I'm going to go see her because, of course, he's just as obsessive as Hayden, and he's going to pop in at this girl's place of work yet again. All right. Tamara's sachets. I have a hard time with that word. Scrolls. I can't say scroll. Strolls in. Sachets into his office. It's something about them S's. I don't know. I'm having a time. And I ain't even had no wine. Ooh, bars. Anyway, focus. Tamara sachets into the office, and he's real nervous. He's like, he kind of standoffish, and she is full throttle. She's like, aren't you glad to be my husband? Da 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 da. We need to go ahead. I need to meet your parents. You need to go ahead and meet mine. Blah 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 blah. Which, girl, what are you talking about? Because you're a decoy, so you shouldn't even have a real storyline that he can track as far as meeting your parents. So are these your real parents? Are your decoy parents? What are you doing? Like, you're blowing the whole cover at this point, and it's giving, I was here initially to take all his money, but I'm really kind of feeling him, and it's Hayden, so it's actually really gross. But I'm gonna let you have it because essentially she's gonna F herself over because Fatima is not your cover anymore, and Fatima's cousin is the one that hired you, and we know that cousin, Miss Madam, girl, don't play a whole lot of games. So hopefully Fatima don't rat you out and you end up in a vat of acid. Okay? All right, let's move right along. All right, Calvin is still trying to help Maurice out, even though he is basically being vile at this point, like spitting venom, like just being real and nasty to him and Sabrina. I guess he really don't give a damn about nobody or nothing at this point because he's ready to risk it all. Like, he is ready to go back to jail, even though he don't want to go back to jail, which is contradictory. But we're just gonna go through the motions. Maurice tells him, like, listen, I'm a realtor, and he makes fun of him, basically like, Tommy, you ain't got no damn job. It was giving that type of vibe. And he's like, listen, I am a realtor. How do you think the bills are getting paid? Like, it's giving a little bit like, not too much, queen, not too much, because I'm holding us afloat, but not too much. And so he tells him like, "Hey, I'm a realtor. Maybe you can get your license, and that way you'll be able to pivot." And Maurice is like, "Well, how the hell am I gonna do that in jail?" Well, of course, it's in the hopes that you don't end up going to jail, but you're still able to go into a new career field because banking may no longer be your ministry. Duh, that's what he was trying to tell you. Anyway, Maurice again, he is only focused on vengeance. He don't care about nothing else at this point. He tells Calvin that I'm going to get Q whacked. I'm getting him off the face of the earth if it's the last thing I do. It just is what it is. And then he comes up with an idea. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hire one of the friends down at the gay club to offer him some money to sleep with them because we know Q is kind of gay for pay. He gonna sleep with anybody for $1, and then have one of his cousins jump out the closet on him and up the tool on him, and go ahead and close out the end of the tombstone numbers." So that's his brilliant plan. Granted, he has said a million times he don't want to. He can't go back to jail. You also don't have the money to flee the country once you put this conspiracy out on Q. So that's not going to work out well for you. And I want to see how this harebrained plan works out because it's just not going to work out in your favor. Yeah, Q won't be a problem for anyone, but neither will you because you'll be in prison. And you don't want to go to prison. And like Calvin said, hey, there's a possibility that you're going to prison currently, but if you unalive him, you're definitely going. Or if you pay to have somebody unalive him, you're absolutely going. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's a TV show, and we gonna rock with it. All right, moving right along. You know what? Backing up a little bit. Maurice's plan could have worked had it been fully thought out. You know that Q is gay for pay. And if somebody from the gay club or somebody offered him a substantial amount of money, they could get him in a room by themselves. What about this? Paying somebody to sleep with him, maybe a little bit of drugs, and get him to confess to them what he did. Am I reaching? Will that work? Well, I don't know. I think Q is a little more street smart than that. So I don't think that'll work. So just abort the mission, and we'll just move right along. We'll just move along. Gary shows up to the office as planned to see Hayden / continue to stalk Andy, and he has this manila envelope in hand, and we know that not much good comes in those stupid manila envelopes. And he walks in, he tells Hayden, "Hey, I got some information on your girl," and Hayden's like, "Stop talking, tomato, 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 stop talking," basically trying to divert his attention and let him know, like, give me 2 to 5 minutes. I need you to get out of my office. And Gary, just as goddamn oblivious as Hayden, is like, "Oh, no, you told me to bring this paperwork over. Remember, I'm here. I came all this way to see you. Blah, 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 blah." Again, not getting the hint. And continues proceeding into the room until he comes around the desk. Once he gets around the desk, he sees Tamara under the desk performing a personal service of sorts on Hayden while in the office. Yeah. So, it got real uncomfortable, but he told you not to bring your ass over there, and you wasn't reading the room, so you got an eye full of something that wasn't your business. So the gist is mind your business, and he told you to come back. So now you're going to rush out and go annoy Andy until, Hayden can get his life decent and in order. We get to the airport, whatever. And Sabrina rolls up on Q. Now, she rolled up real like the walk was clean. She walked up real gangster. But we know Sabrina, she's not going to keep it up for long, and she is damn near in tears. And she tells him, how she worked her butt off real hard and put herself through college, and she had a great thing going, working at the bank, and life was good. And he came in and ruined it all for her. And she asked him, like, what are you getting out of this? Like, why did you do this to me? I'm asking for myself. I ain't asking for a friend. I'm asking for myself. And, she's sitting there talking. He's not really giving anything other than what he's giving Maurice as far as, I don't got no heart, I'm cold-blooded, I did it because I wanted to, blah, 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 blah. And she's able to kind of see through that a little bit. She tells him, like, listen, I don't think you're an inherently terrible person. I just think that somebody hurt you. I don't know who it was that hurt you. I'm sorry for whoever that, I'm sorry to this man. I don't know who it is, but I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I don't have a role. Like, I didn't do it. So again, like, why are you doing this to me? And it just comes down to her being collateral damage. Again, she's still being kind and patient. She even reaches out at one point and, lays her hand softly on his, and he appears to not budge up until, the end of the conversation. And then she offers him forgiveness right there on the spot. And while that was beautiful, round of applause for Mother Teresa / Sabrina, it couldn't have been me. Oh no, baby. Oh hell no. I'm in the middle of Fed charges because I'm guilty by association, and I'm gonna give you a full pardon here in this airport on today. No sir, no ma'am, no ma'am, no Pam, no ham. You are gonna have to go to that investigator with me in tow and give a full confession that you made all this shit up. It was just you, or just you and Maurice. I don't really give a damn who you tell him it was. You're going to have to absolve me expeditiously and recuperate what I've lost in wages / pain and suffering before I even consider the goddamn thought of forgiveness. That absolutely rubs me up. That pisses me off sometimes. I'm gonna climb down. Get off your box. Get off your box. All right, I'm on my soapbox. But I don't have the capacity, is what I'm saying. I'm not her. She not me. I don't have the capacity to have that sort of forgiveness in my heart. We haven't even resolved it. We ain't even done with the conversation, and you handing him a full pardon. No, ma'am. I'm not gonna be able to do it. Either way, she tells him, like, both of us are hurting, and neither of us deserve, to be in this position. Basically acknowledging that somebody screwed him up so bad that he has been hurting all along, and this is essentially why he's doing what he's doing. And it seems to kind of break him a little bit. He was a little misty-eyed in the corner, so she might have got through to him, but the proof is in the charges being dropped for me. So we'll see what happens in the coming episodes. Pam spots Aaron at a coffee shop, and he's talking to someone, saying, hey, can you meet me here? Yeah, there was a little situation, but, it's not a situation anymore. Meet me here, blah, blah, blah. Basically, talking to the girl that was outside of Karen's shop, saying basically, like, no, Karen's not an issue anymore. You meet up with me so we can talk, hash this thing out. While that is your business, that, again, another thing that pisses me off. You might even show that you're going to go. You and Karen have been in and out the stage, giving double dutch at this point, maybe a little bit of boomerang. But y'all have been in and out for quite some time. It ain't even been a day, and you already got something. You already got that old thing lined up. But didn't you just tell Karen that the girl was crazy and she was obsessed with you and stalking you? Well, why in the hell are you calling her trying to set up a meeting, huh? Tell me before I can know. Tell me before I can know. That's what drop it in the comments. Why you did that? Why does that make sense? If the girl's so crazy, y'all always, oh, she crazy, oh, she stalking, but you still calling. Good day, Aaron, and good night, Pastor. I keep forgetting he's a doggone pastor because he got more drama than the rest of us heathens, but I digress. And so Pam comes rolling up and confronts him, and he tells her, like, listen, you got mind your business, essentially. Like, I don't owe you no explanation, just go about your business, Pam. And the real reason he's trying to set up this meeting with this old fling is because he's just mad at the fact that Karen is caught with Zach yet again. And it's more Karen than it is Zach. I think Zach is just oblivious, as he normally is, to the fact that Karen thinks all the emotions, the feelings, the history, all of that has been renewed, when in fact it has not. He just was deathly worried about your presumed death a couple episodes ago. So, he's still living high at that fact. It's like death or near death. It's like one of those things like a death or near death experience brings life into focus for most people, and they just hold tight to what's comfortable. That's what it's giving. It's giving you a comfort. Once upon a time, there was a deep emotional connection. He tapped into that emotion in these last couple of days. And once he settles down and the dust clears, y'all gonna be back to hating each other. So just calm down. So everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Don't get too excited. Karen, you're getting too excited. So he wants to know, like, well, what is the hold? Like, what hold does he have on her? Again, it's a hold that I don't like, and I don't subscribe to. The we got history. Okay. So the history books don't mean I want to relive it. I don't care anything about, oh, we've been friends for 57 years, or we've been dating for 10 years. We're basically common law husband and wife, and I just can't let go. Don't understand it, but it's not for me to understand. It's for those who, who are in those situations, but more power to you and yours. Moving on. Like you said, he had tried everything. I give him that. He has tried everything, and he's done a whole lot to prove his interest and, his dedication to Karen. However, you can't make nobody see you that don't want to see you, my guy. Meaning, while you've been over here this whole time, giving her the best that you got, she been over here. Her head's been over here looking at Zach, waiting on Fatima to mess up, or waiting for a spot to slide back in, and she thinks she on third base right now, when she really not. She not even in the dugout. Y'all like that reference? I don't know. It's the first thing in my mind. Anyway, either way, he calls the girl, because Pam was like, well, ooh, I'm just going to stay here and watch you and this girl talk at this coffee shop and see what y'all got to talk about. And he was like, for what? So you can go back and tell Karen? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm going to be here. So he calls the girl and he changes the location. And Pam is like, haha, gotcha. The joke's on you, sucker. I'm going to follow you and see where you're going. And it might be a bit much. Now I could see if Karen and Aaron was still, I don't know, together, because I don't really think they were ever together. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think they were ever together as in a relationship. He was just kind of pining for her affection, and she might have gave him a little bit every now and again type thing, but not really one-on-one. It's like, once she realizes, anytime that she thinks everything is absolutely done with Zach, she'll pour all of that into Aaron. I've probably said it on a couple reviews at this point, but once she thinks the door is open again with Zach, then it's kind of like I don't want to be bothered with you, Aaron. Is you gonna tell the people who that baby daddy is? It just hit me that you still ain't told nobody nothing, and you was outside with Zach, and you was at the shop with Aaron before he got there. Okay, maybe time was too close. They was cutting too close. We're getting in and out of the shop, but tell them people who that baby belong to, girl, because you're gonna be a single mama no matter how it go. Just gonna prepare yourself, prepare your heart, your mind, and your spirit to know that that's your future. Moving right along. Some lady, don't remember her name, shows up to Andy's office. And it's like a divorce meeting, a consultation of sorts. Andy and Fatima are there. And she tells a little bit of her life story and kind of how she ended up here. She thought she could change the person, blah, 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 blah. She wasted a whole lot of time, essentially, trying to get that person to change, trying to figure out what they were. And she strikes a chord with Fatima because obviously she's in the midst of trying to figure out things, or trying to make Zach something, believing who he was, or trying to figure out whatever it is, whatever the gist of it is. And she tells him, don't waste your life, and don't wait until it's too late. You don't want to be as old as I am, still trying to figure out what you guys are. And that resonates, okay, because they're still, trying to figure out what they are, independent of his feelings for Karen. So, she does not want to end up like that lady. She realizes that the lady is miserable. The lady told her, like, listen, I keep one in the chamber. Like, I keep me a little starting 5 lineup, but as far as his marriage is concerned, I ain't been happy. So, I ain't saying I was sleeping with these people or whatever, but I, keep one on the end of the leash because I didn't want to completely waste my time. And so Fatima tells her, like, listen, I don't want to be unhappy. Well, after she leaves, she tells Andy, like, I don't want to be unhappy in my marriage like this lady, so I think it's over. And so she tells Andy, like, listen, I give up. Give me that ring you gave me at the little safety deposit box or wherever you put it. And so we are to presume that Fatima's going to give it back to Zach next episode, and we can be done with this fiasco. However, that is not the case because they have an entire series over on the BET Plus network. So we're not going to get from under them that easy. But however, I will take them two over Karen and Zach any day. So what's going to happen is, in my projections, is that Zach is going to realize that Karen thinks this is a lot more than what it is, which all these little kisses on the cheek and all these little offers for your favorite foods and things like that, all these little intimacies without actual intimacy. I don't know how you're not realizing it's Zach, but when you do catch up, you're gonna crush her yet again, and y'all will be back, fighting, and then you and Fatima will be back good, and then we'll get to move on with the storylines. Either way, that has been it. That's been season 6, episode 7. We'll see what happens in the next one. Let me know what you think about the episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.